Blog Talk Radio.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome everybody to Moorish Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka, and tonight our special guest will be Dr. Walter Williams, and we will be discussing spirituality versus religion. What is the difference between religion and spirituality? Can you be religious and spiritual at the same time? If you are spiritual, will you go to heaven? Can religion save you? How long do you have to be religious before going to heaven, if you're going? Or hell, for that matter. Nevertheless, these are just a few of the questions that we're going to be dealing with here this evening. And keep in mind, we will have other special guests that will be joining us, and the phone lines will be open. The number to dial into the broadcast is 310-982-4184. And if you have something to say, you press 1 on your phone line, and we will give you an indication when we're going to be opening the phone lines up. I would like to give everybody a heads up. We got some brothers coming down here to the Islam's Masjid, and they'll be in here next month. But in August, we'll be celebrating Marcus Garvey Day, and we'll be down on Fernandina Beach. Y'all might want to come on in and come on down to the South and enjoy yourself down here in this good Florida sunshine. Now, before we get into this broadcast, I'm going to go and do these commercials, get them out of the way, and then we'll be ready to roll with this thing. Okay? Don't forget. When it's time to open up the phone lines, just press 1 on your phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say, and I'll open up and I'll let you in. Okay? So y'all hold on for these commercials. What is this? Setting up your trust is one of the greatest financial moves you can ever make for yourself and your family. Learn how to do that by visiting newdebtelimination.com. Our secure party and creditor package is the best, complete with everything you need to know and beyond. Don't hesitate to contact me, Tarhaka for more information. 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's newdebtelimination.com. Now it's time to set up your trust. This is for very serious people only. If you're a serious individual, contact me, 904-303-9061, or visit newdebtelimination.com. What does Tarhaka Secure Party and Creditor package entails? Private consultation by phone and email, the correct system for paying your property taxes in the private, the documents you will need to conduct business and transactions, public and private,
Tarhaka Library, documents for status change in commerce, master study manuals, and trust guides. Free credit repair with all 3 credit bureaus. A business for you in itself. Educational materials on DVD and CD sent directly to your postal box. 1099's education and how to file. How to become a private banker the right way. Asset building, protection, and investing. We also, for all of our clients, host our private conference calls. To access this kind of education and power, go to www.newdebtelimination.com or call me directly, 904-303-9061. Also keep in mind, we have the top, best financial advisors there is. Peace.
Hi, I'm Tarhaka Black. I'm not a lawyer and don't give out legal advice. But if you are looking for an opportunity to have your very own general post, your very own professional domicile, or if you need legal advice, go to www.newdebtelimination.com and look up top to your right. Click on the new custom page button. It's all the way over to the right. And right below the video on that page, you'll see the links for the general post as well as the link for getting legal advice. If you have any further questions, call me, Tarhaka Black, 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. That's 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything you need is right at www.newdebtelimination.com. You're non-resident? Well, if you are, you need your own general post. www.newdebtelimination.com.
You don't have to lose your home due to foreclosure. You don't have to worry about child support. You don't have to be in credit card debt. Have no fear. Tarhaka Black is here at newdebtelimination.com. Got student loans, child support, mortgages? Contact someone who's got the experience and the knowledge to get you back under God's law. That's Tarhaka Black. He's been there, he's done that, and he can prove it. Just give him a call at 904-303-9061. That number again is 904-303-9061. And log on to newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com and get yourself free.
All right, everybody, we're back. Let me state my position on this spirituality versus religion. The way I see it is, if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, I fail to see where religion come in. I mean, if someone tells me that they believe in something, I expect them to know everything that could possibly be known about what it is they're believing in. I mean, that just makes common sense to me. Okay. If you believe in Jesus, outside of the Bible, what is it that you know about him? Have you ever seen him? Do you? What facts can you put on the table and evidence? That's the way I see that. Because I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, spiritual and clothed in flesh. So we have to have knowledge. If that is what I'm saying, that's my position, then I have to have some knowledge to support the part about being human. your physical makeup, your blood, your bones, and so on and so forth. And we have that information, that down on the table, and it can be verified by doctors and other people. So when you say, Jesus this and Jesus that, and so what I'm looking for now at this point is I'm looking for the facts. Just give me the facts where I can just go take the facts, look at the proof, look at the evidence, all of the facts right there on the table. It appears that my special guest is dialed into the broadcast. I'm going to open up the phone line and let him in. And I see we also got a caller with his hand raised at area code 708. We will be opening up the phone line, so hold tight, if you will, please. Area code 773, Dr. Walter Williams. Are you with us?
Yes, Brother Tarhaka, I'm here.
Welcome again, my brother. Welcome to our Sunday night broadcast as my special guest. And tonight's topic is spirituality versus religion. And I've just finished putting my thing out there, my position out, and I wanted to know, what is it that you have to say about this thing starting out?
Well, we're talking about the subject of spirituality versus religion. Spirituality comes from the human being by way of the human's humanity. Religion is man-made, created by man to control the thinking and the actions of man. So you have to know the two differences in order for an individual human not to be confused. Now, let's deal with spirituality as a human trait and a human identity. How does one get a human spirituality? They get it through the sexual encounter between their father and mother. The father enters the mother's vagina and releases a sperm. That sperm lands on the female's egg. And with that process being said and done, that causes the 9 months of incubation for the development of a human being. Now, you got 7 billion humans walking this earth of all races, creeds, and color. They all came the same way. There's no exception. And once that sperm meets the egg of the female, thus causing the 9 months of incubation of development, during that 9 months, a human being is being developed inside of the mother's body. So she carries that incubated human inside of her body to become a human being at the end of the 9 months of process. At the end of the 9 months, the baby is developed and comes out into the world as a human being attached to its mother's umbilical cord. That umbilical cord at that point is cut by the doctor, thus separating the mother from the child. That umbilical cord is used for the purpose of supplying air, food, and water for the 9 months of incubated development of a human being, which is now out of the mother's body and is now a full developed child human. Okay? Now, you have to understand that development and understand this is what's happening to all of humanity. Man created a religion, no matter what name it may be, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Black Hebrew Israelitism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, whatever man created as a religion, that religion is created for man to control his thinking and actions, like I mentioned before. So you really have to know the difference. Now, these religions, by you being indoctrinated in a religion, such as, let's take, for instance, Christianity, and you can multiply this with all religions that are out here. Christianity, an individual becomes a Christian by his parents passing along a disease and virus to them that I call religion. That's what it is. It's a disease and a virus called religion. So that individual child in his early innocent age can't say, Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a Christian. Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a Muslim. Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a Black Hebrew Israelite. Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a Jew. Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a Buddhist or Zoroastrian. I don't want to be any of this. But the child can't say that. So this child grows up to become a Christian. Now, when he gets grown or of age to have children of his or her own, they take that same disease that was passed on to them by its mother and father, passes on to their children. Now, your mother and father got this disease from your grandparents, their mother and father. And the great-grandparents pass it on to the grandparents, and the parents pass it on to the child. And then it goes back. Your great-grandparents pass it on to your grandparents, and your grandparents pass it on to its siblings and so forth, its children and so forth and so on. So you end up with a religion not knowing how you got the religion, but that religion was passed on to you from generation to generation by the parents of that child. Now, when you are in the belief of a religion, that's the key, belief. Belief is the glue that keeps all religions together. All religions are kept together by the way of belief. But now, belief in a religion only incarcerates your thinking, your mind. It puts you into bondage. It limits your thinking. Like when you are incarcerated into a prison, they give you a jail cell in that prison to live in, 6x9 or whatever it is, and that's where you're gonna live for the rest your duration of your time spent in prison. You can't go beyond that space. So the same thing with beliefs. You cannot go beyond what you believe in or what the religion is teaching you to believe in. See? Because the Bible is a book that one has to believe in. All religions are religions that one human has to believe in. You have to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it's worthless. Okay? Has no value, has no life. So what you do as a human being, you get your humanity, you put your spirit, and you put everything into this religion by way of belief. So what you're doing, you're giving away all of your power that was given to you at the time of your birth. That's your indwelling, divine, spiritual birthright. You give it away to one of these religions. Like when an individual go to church, they don't have to think. When they go to a mosque, they don't have to think. When they go to a synagogue, they don't have to think. Any house or any place that they worship and practice this religion, the individual who practices the religion don't have to think. So you go to church, you sit up in the pews, you don't have to think because you've been given a package. This package that you have given to you by the church contains and consists of Jesus the Christ, this gay white man on the cross, God, and who you think is God, and the Bible. All three entities that I just named has no spiritual power unless you, the human being, give it your spiritual power. Then you, the individual human being, by your belief and thinking that this is real or what's been taught to you is real, you give it its power to make it real in your life. You see? So that's how it's done. It's passed from generation to generation to generation. You see? And so you give away your spirituality, your natural born spirituality. See, every human on earth has a natural born spirituality. Okay? And that natural born spirituality is controlled by you. You have the power to control that. But you have to know something about your own personal humanity. You have to know that you and all other humans was born with a pineal gland. A pineal gland, what is a pineal gland? A pineal gland is a sensory organ that sits in the middle of your brain. It serves as a receiver and a sender between you, the human being, and your personal universe. Every human, 7 billion humans of all races, creeds, and colors, walking this earth, living inside of their own universe. And the bottom of your pineal gland are your nostrils. What do you do with your nostrils? You intake air to keep that spirit that's inside of you alive. Okay? So therefore, in your universe, now you're in your universe. Now, if I cut your head open, I can see your brains, but I cannot see your mind. Your mind is invisible. Your thoughts are invisible. Everything generates from you, from your mind, from your universe, by way of your thoughts. Okay? And then you take those thoughts. Thoughts come into your mind. Thoughts are things. So therefore, in order to make it alive, your thoughts alive, you have to put actions to those thoughts to make it become a reality. You see? So then you have to know that your mind and your universe is connected with a larger, omnipotent outer universe that which has no beginning and no ending. There's no beginning or ending with it. And you can take your mind, and as you develop that mind, you develop that mind by taking in knowledge, information. You begin to evolve. You see, you cannot continue to revolve because revolving does not give you growth. You have to continue to evolve to continue to grow. You see? So now you can take your mind and you can go any place and do anything that you want to do with your mind. If you understand who you are as a human being and what you possess coming out of your mother's womb as a human being. You see? So now you take, for instance, singularly, a male cannot produce anything with life in it. Singularly, a female cannot produce anything with life in it. Can't do it. The two has to get together in a sexual reunion, like I mentioned before, in order to bring forth pro-life. Now, for instance, people have a car. People have homes. People have furniture in their homes, pictures, rugs, bedroom sets and couches and whatever you have in your home. Everything that you see in your home is dead, has no life in it, because it comes from the minds of a female or a male. Again, like I mentioned before, a male singularly cannot produce anything with life in it. A female singularly cannot produce anything with life in it. So therefore, everything that's produced individually by these two humans has no life in it. You see, it has no life in it, but it's produced. Mm-hmm. What you see came out of someone's mind at one time. It was invisible, but at one time it came out of someone's mind to make it visible. Okay? So that's a little something that you need to know about your own humanity. Plus, you need to know about you as a human being having a subconscious mind. You see, a subconscious mind interacts with your conscious mind at the same time. The only difference between the two is the things that you want to remember and keep in your life for future reference. You put it in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your abdomen, where your mother carried you for 9 months of development, of human development. So it's like a computer. You type in information into your computer. What the information that you type in, if you want to keep some of it, you press a button, and it goes into another section of that computer for you to retrieve when you want it to be retrieved. So therefore, you store it in that memory of that computer. So all humans have the same thing, you see. So don't use your spirituality against your own self. Like the Negro College Fund always said, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Don't waste your mind. Don't sit up in these pews using and giving away all your spirituality. What you're doing is destroying yourself. You destroy yourself because these religions destroys and take away your humanity. It destroys you, the human being. You can no longer afford to embrace a religion. You have to first understand who you are, who you are as a human being. And then you have to know something very important, that no human was born with a religion. That you have to know that man created this religion for man to control your thinking again and control your actions. Like Carter G. Woodson once said in 1933, he wrote this book called The Miseducation of the Negro. If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. If he's been trained to go to the back of a building or house to find a back door to enter it, if he comes upon a house or a building that doesn't have a back door, he'll make one. So know who you are. Know what you possess as a human being so you can understand the difference between spirituality and religion. So therefore, I'm going to turn this back over to you, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, fantastic, Dr. Williams. That was wonderfully put. I see we have a caller at area code 708. I'm going to open up that line and see who we have on the line that have the hand raised. You hold on just a second. Area code 7008. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
My name is Arch Alatunde. I'm calling from Crestwood, Illinois.
Okay, welcome to our broadcast. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. That's good right
first
now.
Name, I'll say it again. The first name is Arch. A-R-C-H.
Arch.
The last name is pronounced Alatunde.
Alatunde.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, brother. You want to shed some light on this religion versus spirituality? Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, and where you. How did you find out about this broadcast? And then we can go into giving us your position on this thing.
Well, I found out about the broadcast through Walter Williams.
Okay.
I met him in a downtown place called McCormick Place. He was selling books. And at the time, I was trying to find my path in the spiritual world. I always had negative thoughts about a white man being my savior. So anyway, I read his book. And from that point, I called him and asked him could I come by, because he had classes at that time, come by to visit his classes. That's what me and my wife did at that particular time.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you here with us, and
okay.
You want to give us what you think about this thing?
About spirituality?
Spirituality versus religion. Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was younger, around 10 years old, we used to live on the west side of Chicago. My mother always had a picture of a Caucasian Jesus on the front of her bed, or back of her bed. And it never really clicked with me. And also as a child, I recall looking at television, and one thing that we always saw was Tarzan. Now, Tarzan was a Caucasian. He was in Africa, and he was able to control all the animals and all the native people. And to me, that didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. You know, so like I said, that's when I eventually ran into Walter Williams, and it lifted my mind, my spirit and my mind.
Okay. Now, you came to the conclusion after realizing that something was wrong. We got this Caucasian inside of Africa that's seems to have some kind of magic over everything and everybody, including the animals.
Yeah, the animals, the people, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what did you decide to do about that?
Well, through the growing process, I started reading more about my history, starting from ancient Egypt, and I started to see that we created civilization for all people of this earth. And knowing what the Europeans were trying to do to us, keep us from being knowledgeable about ourselves, I just kept reading and studying and trying to figure out that we're the original people of the earth, and we created everything that pretty much you see nowadays. The things through us.
Okay. Well, what is your definition of spirituality? How you see that?
Spirituality is we have a direct line that was put in us by the Creator, that goes to the Creator, and we don't need an outside source created by man to drive us in the direction they want us to go in for control purposes.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Williams, could you give us some more insight into exactly what the spirituality side is? Does that involve common sense and thinking, or is there some kind of magic, or how does that go?
Well, it's something that you need to know about your own humanity. You got to be aware of who you are. The great doctor of ancient Egypt, Imhotep, once said, know thyself. So the first thing, like I mentioned earlier, that you have to know thyself. And once you know thyself, then you can control yourself. You see? You cannot control yourself with that belief that's exterior of you. You have to, inside of you is where you dwell. Inside of you is where your spiritual power is dwelling and living 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So therefore, you have to be in control of that, but you got to be aware of that you have it. So these religions will teach you away from it. Like I said before, these religions destroys your humanity, your human being, your humanity as a human being. So if you know that, then you can avoid these various man-made religions because they are human traps. They trap you into believing something that is not true. They lead you to believe in something that is based off of a lie. That's all it is, you see. So you have to know these things, know something about your humanity, and you can avoid that, you see. So therefore, you realize that no human was born with a religion, then why would you want to have or embrace a religion? Why would you let anybody give you a religion, you see? It's like I once believed in Santa Claus when I was a boy. My mother told me, if you be a good boy, Santa Claus will bring you some toys at Christmas time. So I believed my mother until one day I found the toys in the closet 2 or 3 days before Christmas. Then I realized at that point that my mother was Santa Claus. And I realized that there was no Santa Claus. So I began to evolve from that point. So an individual human being, the first thing he needs to know, like I mentioned before, is something about its own humanity, personal humanity. Know what you possess as a human being. Know how your human mind functions. Know what your mind is there in your being, which is your mind and your spirit is one and the same. One and the same. Okay? And you have to know how to conduct your mind with your spiritual power that you have and given at the time of your birth. You got to know what to do with it and things like that. So therefore, everything comes from the mind. Okay? But if that mind is being directed in another direction to believe in a dead white man on the cross called as Jesus Christ, which never walked the earth as a human being, never walked this earth as a human being. So therefore, you got to remember your mind. Sometimes people are directed into believing that a prophet Muhammad walked this earth as a human being. There's never been a prophet Muhammad to walk this earth as a human being. That's misleading. You see, that's misinformation. That is controlling your humanity for you to believe that. You see, like I said before, these religions get you to believe that these characters it's mentioned in these various religions are human beings. They are human in your thinking if you believe that a prophet Muhammad walked this earth, if you believe that Jesus the Christ walked this earth as a human being. You give those names power, and you make them and you describe them as others describe it or them to you. So therefore you pick it up and you make it alive. There's never been an Abraham, Isaac, Moses, Jacob, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, or David, or a Joshua, or any other biblical characters named in the Bible. There's none of those biblical characters named in the Bible were real. They're not real. Only if you believe that a Moses walked this earth. Only if you believe that an Abraham walked this earth. Only if you believe that a Joshua walked this earth and wandered 40 years and 40 nights to find the promised land and so forth. If you believe all of that, then you make that alive. You make it real in your life. You see? So therefore, it's the first thing that you need to know, again, is something about your own humanity, so you won't have to go through all that process and believe in these various lies that's connected to these various religions. You see? So that is some of the things that I have to say about that, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Brother Arch, you
yes,
still
sir.
with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, earlier you mentioned the word the creator. Could you give us a description of the creator in the way you see it, and how did that come to be? And could you break that down for us?
Well, the creator, we don't know. We never have seen him. We just know there is a force that is superior to us. You couldn't put a sex to him. You don't know if it's a male or female or just a creator. So that's to me. That's what it has to be. It's the invisible force that goes over the human beings and that created all of us.
Can I say this, Brother Tarhaka?
Sure, go ahead, Doc.
There's another person that's supposed to be on with Arch, which is his wife, Shirley. I'd like Shirley to come on and give us some insight on the conversation, especially about the time when she was in my class and she disappeared for about 3 weeks and so forth and so on. Shirley, I know that you're hiding, but come out and let's hear from you.
She's not hiding. She's out now.
Good evening. I'm here.
Good evening, sister. Welcome.
Thank you. My husband and I were students of Professor Williams for approximately 5 to 6 years we studied. And it enlightened my husband first, I'll say it that way. I was a very religious woman. As a matter of fact, I was so religious that you could really literally look at me and say hallelujah. So it took a lot for me to break away from religion. But what my experience was that I studied under the professor for several, I guess the first few months. But I was uncomfortable with the change of, breaking, letting go of religion and going into spirituality because I didn't understand it. So therefore, I went back to church. And I stayed there for a while. But what really turned on a light bulb was one Sunday I was at church. And the church that I attended I know you're familiar with locks that you have to have a key on both sides to unlock it. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, some of the mothers of the church, or some of the members of the church, it was 3 elder women, was locked. They somehow got locked into the church. And I don't really understand why I came back to the door, but I did. And they were begging me to go down to the pastor's house, which is right up the street there, to get the key to let them out of the church. So I, of course, went there and got the key, and I let them out of the church. And it dawns on me at that moment that I'm not supposed to be in there with them. I am supposed to be outside trying to free them from that. And that's when I was very comfortable going back to class, studying up under Professor Williams at that point. That was the beginning of me truly letting go of religion.
Okay.
That's really that's the story that the African community and the world needs to hear. And Shirley, I'm only kidding you when I say you were hiding. You're not hiding. You have no reason to hide. But anyway, that was fantastic presentation and what you presented to us this evening. And there's a lot of that going on, Brother Tarhaka, all over this country. You remember we had a woman by the name of Josephine Hughes a couple of years back on our program with Clemson Brown. She's from Lufkin, Texas, that she had walked away from her church, that she had locked it up and took all the religious symbols and emblems off the building, on the exterior of the building, went inside and took all the religious literature out of that church and discarded it and walked away from it. After hearing tapes by me and Azwar Kwesi, she heard those 2 tapes, and she was convinced that there's never been a man that ever walked away from human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ. And that gave her the inspiration and the understanding, because a light went on inside of them, inside of her own humanity. A light went on, the light of the truth. So she says, and she told us on the program that we're on at this very moment, saying that she could not preach or tell the lie anymore. You remember that, Brother Tarhaka?
I remember very well.
And then let me tell you another story. 2 weeks ago, one of my students called me, and he introduced me to a preacher, an ex-preacher from North Carolina. Get him on, but I didn't have his phone number. Anyway, he told me that he had been in the ministry for over 25 years, and that he used to preach 4 and 5 services on a weekend. So he said that not only did he preached more than 365 days a year, because of those 4 and 5 services he would preach on a Sunday. So he told me that one night at 1 o'clock in the morning, a voice said, "It's a lie! It's a lie!" And it woke him up. It startled him, he said. This is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it wouldn't quit, saying, "It's a lie, it's a lie." So he went and got his Bible, and he began to read his Bible, 2 verses in there, 2 chapters in there. And he kept reading, he kept praying, but that voice wouldn't go away and saying that it was a lie. But long story short, he said that right after that, he heard Ask Walk Crazy, and he began to hear me, because I'm, you putting me on YouTube and others having me out there and so forth and so on. And so he changed. He said he can't go back to that because he cannot preach the lie anymore. And young people today are not going to these churches because a lot of churches all over America in the African community are closing down for lack of attendance. They're closing the door. They can't afford to keep the doors open because they don't have enough attendance. Because the old folks are dying off, and the young people are not coming in. Now, for instance, about a little over a month ago, they had a march against the NRA, National Rifle Association, for the shooting there in, I believe it was Florida, wasn't it? I believe it was Florida. Anyway, so if you notice on the television, all those young people got up there, very brilliant, very articulate. They got up there and gave speeches. But not one person out of the thousands that were marching out there, not one person who walked up to that microphone in that march, that made a part of that march, not one person spoke about God. Not one person spoke about Jesus the Christ. Not one person spoke about going and praying. They didn't. None of that. These are 10 and 11 and 13-year-old children, 17-year-old kids, and things like that. Okay? They didn't mention none of that. You see? Because that's over with now. You've been praying. We've been praying all of our lives. Okay? And our parents have been praying all their lives, down on their knees, bowing down and giving away their spirituality and their humanity. See, when you bow down to this image on that cross, you're giving away your humanity. You see? And you're giving away all your power to this dead white man, your enemy on the cross. You see? You go into these churches and you pray. And when you to this white image on the cross, so when you come out and you pray to this God who you call Jesus Christ, and you come out of the church, this God allows this white male to put us into slavery. You go into these churches and you pray to this white male on the cross, and when you come out, this God that you've been praying to, this white God you've been praying to, allowed this white male to lynch us. You see, from 1880 to 1940, you had over 5,000 to 6,000 lynchings that are documented in this country, let alone the ones that hasn't been documented. Goes up into the thousands. See, but you've been praying to this white male to protect you, and you come out of these churches after praying this white male to protect you. Then this God allows this white male to initiate Jim Crow laws against us as a people. Then you go into this church and you pray again to this white man. You keep praying down on your knees, just begging and scraping and praying and pleading and so forth and so on. So when you come out of these churches, what happened to this white God you've been praying to? He allowed an individual non-human called Dylan Roof to go into Mother Bethel's Emmanuel's Church in South Carolina and murder 9 parishioners. Where was God then? There's no protection for them. Let me ask this question to all Christians. What has God done for the Africans living in America? What has God done that you've been praying to, done for the Africans living in the continent of Africa? What has God done to protect this world against the terrorization of this white male? What has God done to protect us? Nothing. So that's something that you need to think about. So that's some of the things that needs to be said, and I'm glad that Shirley brought out her experience and Arch brought out his experience on how the light came on for them. See? Mm-hmm. People get up to every day, Christians, Muslims, Black Hebrew Israelites, Jews, and Buddhists, and so forth. They get up every day awake, but they still sleep, walking around asleep, awake. They don't know that they're asleep. See? So Arch and Sister Shirley woke up because a light woke them up. That brother down in North Carolina that ministered for 25 years, a light woke him up. That Josephine Hughes out of Lufkin, Texas, a light woke her up. And that light is waking up people all over the world and all in the African community. The light is waking us up. There's a movement out there. You don't see it, but it's out there, and it pops up to let you know that something is changing out there in the African community, such as people like Josephine Hughes out of Lufkin, Texas. That brother, his name was Fred, out of North Carolina, such as the Sister Shirley Olatunde and Brother Arch Olatunde. Lights are coming on all over the world, all in the African community, and I want that light to continue to do that. And I'm glad that I am being used as a power to turn on people's lights if they want to. See, I can't liberate Shirley or nobody. I can't liberate no human on this earth. Okay? You have to do it yourself. Like Shirley made herself enlightened, you see? So Arch made himself enlightened. So others have to do the same thing. I can't liberate you. You have to liberate your own self. I can only provide you with the information and the words and the reasoning and the encouragement to do that. But the rest of it is on your own. So, Brother Tarhaka, back to you.
Okay. Well put, and I certainly appreciate the sister giving us the information that she brought to us. I wanted to try to get some clarity on this spiritualism, because I think what happens is in the people who are still practicing these religions, I think they get their religious fervor, their religious activities confused with some type of spiritual magic or something, believing in something outside of themselves, performing some type of magic with it. But in my opinion, I think the problem comes from belief itself. Because if you're going to believe in something, I mean, to me, this is just common sense. If you're going to believe in something, I think the first thing that you should believe in is you. I mean, if I had a man, and I've told this story before, and he was very religious. He told me he belonged to this church and he'd done this and that. He told me that the Lord had blessed his pastor and his pastor's wife to go to the Cayman Islands. And I said, the Lord blessed them to go there, huh? He said, yeah. I said, well, do you put your 10% of your income in the church? Yes, I do. I pay my tithes every Sunday. I said, is there anybody else putting their money in there? They said, we have a large segment of our population that, yes, they put their money in there. I said, well, now, this is what common sense tells me. Why would your wife, your pastor and his wife need a blessing from God to go to the Cayman Islands when he got your money? And if they believe in God, why don't they just go to the airport and just put the people on notice that they will be traveling? God is going to supply the money for the ticket. He's going to fly the plane, land the plane, bring them back, and put them out at the airport and drive them back to the house. He told me I was going to hell. I said, well, now, do your pastor, what kind of car do your pastor drive? My pastor and his wife both have brand new Lincolns with the sticker still in the window. I said, is that right? I said, well, you told me a few minutes ago that you gave him your money. And I watch you every day come up here to the job with the hood up, put oil in the Chevrolet. I said, don't you think something is wrong with this equation? And he say, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I said, well, look, I don't have any hocus pocus. I'm just calling it like I said. If I'm walking to the store and I got $3 in my pocket and I need ice cream, and the ice cream costs $2.75, and you standing on the corner with preaching the gospel, and you're telling me to give you a donation to help with the Lord's work, and I give you one of them dollars, and I go in that store, I ain't gonna be able to get what I be able to get. I can tell the man that look, I need this ice cream, and I just gave that guy there $1 to help with the Lord's prayer, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you these two, and you give me that. He call the police on me, and have me and him arrested. So when we look at things from a common sense perspective, I mean, just common sense. We got churches on some streets. You count 7, 8, 9, 10 churches in a few blocks on that street, and all of these churches are collecting money from the people that's coming to the churches. But the community that the churches are sitting in is in shambles. Mm-hmm. Nobody comes out to church after they get the money and go into the community and say, well, look, we're going to go out here because we just took up the collection, and we're going out into this community where our church is located, and we're going to see how many people are homeless, how many people are hungry, how many people are destitute, how many people need clothing, need water, need food, need shelter. But they don't do none of that. So something is wrong. And I mean, we got, and we've been at it for what, over 200 years, and we still doing the same thing. And ain't nothing happening. We still are praying to some white guy hanging on a stick somewhere, and looking for and turning around and begging white police not to put us in jail.
That's right. So true.
Well, I feel like if we just start looking at things from a common sense perspective, and if you're talking about being spiritual, the first thing you need to look at is the fact that you are a spiritual being and you're having a human experience. There's no room for religion in nowhere. If you're going to perform a ceremony, go get in front of the mirror and look in the mirror and start with that individual in the mirror and start learning everything that you can about yourself. Learn how to hold a conversation. Because I went to a Christian one time. He was a deacon, and I was putting together some financial matters, and I wanted to make some investments. And I walked over to the church. And I said, "Well, brother, I'd like to get your opinion on something about finances." And he, before I even got started, he said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if it ain't about Jesus, it ain't gonna work, and it ain't no good." I said, "Well, you don't even know what I'm going to say." I mean, his mind was just that narrow. You can't even hold a conversation with him without them bringing up something about Jesus or God. You cannot hold a conversation with a Christian about economics and finances or anything else without them bringing up something about Jesus and God. If it's God willing and we have another day, if the Lord let me see another day, wait a minute, hold on. This kind of business here, we got to stop. We got to, because see, when you go to church, because they throw me out of church, because I have questions. Especially when it comes down to patting around the collection plate, trying to get some of that money. I'll be hold it right there. I got a question. So they put me out of there. Because I really, well, wait a minute. The money, what is it for the Lord's work? Okay, well, wait a minute. Maybe I could do some of the work for him, and I hold on to the money. I do the work. What you need done? Need a little carpentry done around here? Do you need me to give you this money so you can get that new Lexus? You got a 2016 9. I know you're ready for that 2017, and you get that and then come. Because I had a pastor come and tell us that. He would pull up in a brand new Lexus. Tell about the Lord is really shining his light on me. He has blessed me with a new Lexus. I said, well, what you need blessing God for? You've been robbing them folks over there. I've been watching you rob them for the past 5 years. You ought to have enough money to buy a brand new Rolls Royce.
That's right.
So, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want you asking no questions, none whatsoever. They just want you to believe. Well, I have questions because I don't deal with the believing business. I believe in me, and that's where that goes. And my own skills, my own knowledge, I take the time to read, do an investigation on stuff. So when I get ready to discuss something, I'm able to put proof of what I'm talking about on the table. I got evidence. I got the facts. I was with a friend of mine here the other day, and we were about religion, and I went on the computer and I showed her the video that clearly explains where they stole this religious information that they got up out of Egypt. I said it's right there on the walls in the temples of Egypt. And they put the whole thing together for them. The winter solstice and the December the 25th and what the 3 wise men is, the whole thing. It was fascinating. I said, okay, so now if you got this information, now when somebody starts talking to you about Jesus and the resurrection and Easter and all this business, you just put that on the table. And I always ask Christians around Easter time. I said, well, when Easter comes, I said, now I have a question for you. You Christian? Yes, I am a Christian. You believe in the resurrection of Jesus? Yes, I do. I said, well, during Easter time, approximately how many Easter eggs does a bunny rabbit lay? And they go to thinking, so I said, well, maybe about 30, probably about 30 or 40. I said, well, what about the fact that a rabbit don't lay no eggs? What about that? And he certainly don't lay no chicken eggs, so we have a problem. They don't want to talk to me no more. Too much of thinking.
Well, this is what I ask Christians. I'm asking this question at this very moment to all Christians. Do you think that the white race will take their family and their children into a church where a big black African Jesus is hanging on the wall and teach their family and their children that this black Jesus on this cross is their God, Lord, and Savior? Do you think they would do that? I'll give you the answer. Hell no. The next question I ask Christians, and they are befuddled because they have no answer. Christians of African descent, what is the name of your God that looks like you? And they look at me very strange when I ask them that. And I tell them I'm waiting for an answer. And then they start fumbling around. They can't give me an answer. You see? They don't have a God. They don't know a God that looks like them. They haven't been taught that. They've been taught that this dead white man is their God and Savior. That's what they've been taught. So why should we take our children into a church where this dead white man on the cross, and you teach our children that he is their God, our God, and Savior, when the white race will not do that to their family and children if there was a black Jesus in reality walking that had ever walked this earth? They wouldn't do that. Okay? So why are we doing it? So that's some of the things that you're talking about, Brother Tarhaka, and this is some of the things that we are talking about on this program for one to realize in the African community. Now, also in the African community, I want to make a comparison about between the church and the slave plantation. The church and the slave plantation is one and the same. There's no difference. The head of all slave plantations is this old white man they call Massa. He's the head of all slave plantations. He's the owner. In all Christian churches, they'll tell you that the head of all Christian churches is Jesus the cross, Christ, another old white image, an icon and symbol that's hanging on a cross. So he and the slave master is one and the same. Every slave plantation has an overseer. They call him Old Boss Charlie, or another old ignorant-ass white man. That's over the slave plantation. Now, who is over the church to take Boss Charlie's place? It's Reverend C.T. Chickenwing, the minister. He is the overseer of all Christian churches. Who are the slaves? The slaves are the parishioners that sits in the pews of these churches with their belief. They come in with their belief, okay, and their faith in the belief, and that belief is, like you said, Tarhaka, is on the outside of their humanity, okay, it's supposed to be on the inside. The first thing that an individual is supposed to believe in is himself or herself, if they have the knowledge of who they are as a human being. That's the first thing. You have faith in you, your humanity, your thoughts, your decisions, your ideas. You have put faith in that, and you see them come to fruition. So therefore, you have to know who you are and to really know where you are going, because you, the human being, are the only person on earth that can take you where you want to go. You see, not no religion won't do that, no preacher won't do that, and no Bible won't do that. Because the Bible, again, is a book that one has to believe in. If you don't believe in that Bible, the Bible is worthless. It's dead. So there's a lot to know and learn about these various religions. And I want to tell you something about facts. Like you mentioned, talk about facts. Facts are stronger than argument, more profound than reasoning, more dependable than opinions, silences dispute, supersedes predictions and facts, always ends the argument, unless you're talking to an individual who don't want to know the facts. See, an individual can have their own opinion, but you cannot have your own facts. A fact is a fact. It ends the argument. See? So why go? You can't go beyond facts. The facts will lead you to the truth. And you can't go beyond truth. Can't go by, I think this. And that has nothing to do with facts. The world don't care about what you think and what you believe in. I can't come out here on the world stage and tell the world, hi, world, this is Walter Williams. There's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ, or Prophet Muhammad, or Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, or David, or Joshua, or any biblical characters that's mentioned in the Bible. Never walked this earth. I can't say that unless I have the facts to back up what I'm saying, to defend myself. You see? So the truth based on facts is very powerful. And if you, the individual human, knows these various truths, and you understand them, and you can control them in your thinking, then you have taken back and your power, and you are in control of your own spiritual individual power. So that's what I have to say to that, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, Emma. Brother Art, you have something else you want to add?
Well, at this point, I'm just enjoying the conversation. You learn something new every day.
All right. Well, what about you, sister? Is your wife still with us?
Yes. I would like to add something.
Come on.
I believe that I know that incorporated into these various religions is a fear factor. And what I experience is if I let go of the Bible, the instructions to my spirituality, then how would I be instructed? And then I found out about, through Professor Williams, the principles of Ma'at. And Ma'at is love, peace, wisdom, truth, and justice. And I began to study each principle, which made me comfortable to release the Bible and live according to the 42 principles of Ma'at. But I think that a lot of people that are religious, they in their spirit knows that something is not quite right, but because incorporated into that program, you have a fear factor. You're doomed to go to hell, and burn and all of that stuff. And I think that's what holds a lot of people back from the truth.
Well, I have to agree with that 100%. We also have to look at, when it comes to spiritualism, we have to clearly identify how to perform acts of true spiritualism. And in my opinion, I think paying attention to the red flags and stuff is an excellent start, because what we as a people have been doing for quite a long time is we've been participating in economical genocide. We got, like you take, for instance, the Christmas time. Now, that is a holiday that doesn't have anything to do with us and our people. But what we are doing is embracing the customs and activities of something that belonged to somebody else to our detriment. I had a young man, he worked for the beer company, and what he was doing was, during Christmas time, he was in competition with a neighbor for seeing how many lights he could put up around his house. And out in the yard, it had all the bushes, it had a little dock on the backyard, in the backyard, had all that lit up, and had a bucket with a white guy with a red suit on, sitting in the bucket on top of his house, all lit up with reindeers. And I asked the brother, I said, man, I don't want you to, feel like I'm trying to cause a problem, but just using spiritual common sense. I say, in your opinion, who do you think have the best Christmas out of everybody in this city? Who do you think had the best Christmas? He said, well, that would have to be the children. I said, well, I have to disagree with that. He said, well, why you disagree with that? I said, because based on all these lights that I see around here and all around your houses, it seems to me that the electric company having the best Christmas out of everybody in the whole neighborhood. And he looked at me and looked kind of strange. And I said, well, let me ask you something else. I said, how many reindeers do you think live in Africa? He said, I don't know. I said, well, let me help you out. None. So when I'm looking on top of your house, you got a whole herd of them. And so by then, he ready to kick me out the yard. And we've been investing in these customs that belong to somebody else and to me is causing economic genocide. This is what we do because it makes it millions of dollars, and after it don't last for one day, and the next day they get on the news and start talking about how many millions and billions of dollars that they took in from a whole nation of people that the cousins don't have anything to do with. Well, it's Jesus' birthday. I said, well, who the hell is he? When the last time you seen him?
But you know what? It's
this is stuff we need to change. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it's easier to fit in than to stand out. And a lot of people just want to fit in.
Well, I don't fit in when it comes to.
I recall.
I keep my money fitted in my pocket. I don't participate in none of that junk. And you have to be careful because you got other people that you are in your surroundings that you are associated with that are deeply involved in these customs. They got the Christmas tree in the house. They got to put the wreath up on the door. They got stuff all lit up, and they got to cook the Thanksgiving and the dinner stuff. And I'll be asking them, with Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for? What is it, and why are you cooking a dry turkey? And what is this little purple stuff in this bowl right here? Because it's amazing. It is the most amazing thing I ever seen. You go in the grocery store, and boy, everybody be running to have baskets full of turkey and stuff. And one lady, she told a little boy, said, go back on the aisle over there and get the cranberry sauce. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Cranberry sauce? I said, nah, we eat cranberry sauce on doing this particular. We put it on the table because nobody don't eat it. But after that, I don't know nobody that go to the grocery store that look like me buying something. I need 3 cans of cranberry sauce. Nobody. But we investing in these customs, and they say, well, it's Jesus' birthday, and all that. Well, okay. Well, when the last time he done something for you? Did you pay the mortgage? You pay your lights and water?
You're right.
So if we stop and think, because I seen it the other day. What holiday it was when they put on the green? That's the St. Patrick's Day. I seen a whole herd of brothers and sisters come out of the house with the green hat on. Green, you got to wear some green shirt, green hat, or green pants, and then with the 4-leaf leprechaun clover on them, going somewhere. I said, well, what the heck? We done went from Easter to Christmas, the Valentine's Day. They had us spending like a top on Valentine's Day, and we done gave out so much Charlie Candy. And I feel sorry for the women because a lot of them are rotting out their teeth. They eat so much good Valentine's Day candy.
That's right.
So we got to look at our spiritual condition and start thinking collectively how this thing is affecting us. If we got we say we got 6 million people that look like me and you in America, if one of us just took $1 away from Christmas alone, we got $6 million.
That's right.
That's enough to set up a whole economic community base right there. But we won't do that.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're right.
Got to get cranberry sauce, no matter what. Got to go along with the turkey. So it is amazing because what our people do is not only do we not know in a lot of circumstances, we don't want to know. We don't want to be convinced. We don't want to do a thorough investigation on whether or not there was ever anybody in the history of the world named Jesus Christ. We don't want to do no investigation on that. We don't want to come face to face with proving beyond any shadow of a doubt that there's ever been anybody in the history of the world named God. No. We don't want to know that. You're not supposed to do that. According to who? What are you afraid of? I mean, if you say you believe in something, you should at least be able to provide some evidence to support what it is that you say you believe in. That's just common sense to me. Don't try to have an argument with me. You ain't got no facts. I'm trying to put the facts on the table. You trying to keep them from getting on the table instead of arguing, and you ain't got none. A lady told me one time I put on a fez on my head. It had the little black tassel on it, and she said, "You can't wear that back around here in my house no more." So I don't care. I don't go for that kind of stuff there. I said, "Well, could I ask you a question?" I said, "Could you tell me exactly what it is you know for a fact about the fez that I'm wearing?" "Well, I don't know nothing about it." I said, let me make sure I got this right. You don't know nothing about it. I know one thing, it ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Hold on. You don't know nothing about it, but you don't want me to wear it on it because some kind of way about some hooker crooker or some hocus pocus inside your brain, you feel like it represents something that don't have nothing to do with somebody you ain't never seen. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Man, I know one thing, you going to bust hell wide open. I said, well, what side of town is it located on? I don't want to talk to you no more.
Yeah. Our minds is really
if you believe in heaven, which direction do we go? At least we should be able to go by there, check it out, look at it. We know, is it in the north, is it on the west side, south side, east side? Where is it exactly? Where is hell located? So we can go by there, just do a drive-by, just peep over at it, So at least we know where it at. That way, so when we get ready to go to heaven or hell, we'll know which direction we're going to be going in.
That's very good, Brother Tarhaka. Very good. Because when people have told me, when I tell them that there's never been a man that walked earth in human form, been raised, created, called by the name of Jesus Christ. Oh, you're going to die and you're going to go to hell. I said, okay, when I get to hell, I'll leave the door open for you. Okay? Thinking back on what Sister Shirley was saying about fear. Fear is one of the side effects that religions will give a human being, especially Christianity. The first side effect that these religions will give to you, especially Christianity, is confusion. An individual is confused in believing these various religions or this Christianity religion because they don't know anything about themselves. They're confused. That's where the confusion comes in. You see? They believe in these religions without knowing who they are as a human being, what was given to them at the time of their birth. So that's where the confusion, that's one of the side effects that these religions give to you. The next side effect, it limits your thinking. Religions will limit your thinking. The second side effect, meaning that all religions, like I mentioned before, are kept together by one's belief. And that belief in these various religions does not give you knowledge. Faith does not give you knowledge. It gives you confusion. You are in bondage. You are in a position to have limited thinking. So this religion limits your thinking. It steals your own personal humanity away from you. That's the second side effect. It limits your thinking. The first side effect, as I mentioned, is confusion. The third side effect is animation. During the time of Christmas or any of these religious holidays, Easter, etc., when you hear the minister tell you the story about how this Jesus was born in Bethlehem, there's 3 wise men came from the east after his mother and father Joseph was turned away by the innkeeper. And they went and found the barn and made a manger to put this baby Jesus in. And 3 wise men came from the east bearing gifts. And what happens when you hear that story, the individual human hearing that story from the preacher's mouth began to animate that story in his thinking and in his belief, and it becomes part of his life. It becomes so embedded in his thinking that he animates whatever that story is about. Okay? Then the fourth side effect is fear, like Shirley said. Fear. If you don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, you're going to die and go to hell. That's your fourth side effect. So all religions, especially Christianity, have side effects. They will give you side effects. Like when you go to the doctor and you're sick, the doctor will examine you and find out what's wrong with you. And then after he finds out what's wrong with you, he's going to prescribe a man-made medicine, synthetic medicine for you. And the medicine that he prescribes for you to take to eliminate the condition that you have, it's going to give you side effects. And you hear side effects on all of the commercials. It's on television. These medical medicines that they want you to take, or ask your doctor, can you take this medicine that's prescribed by the pharmacist or the pharmaceutical company for you to take to eliminate the problem that it's supposed to eliminate, but then it gives you other side effects. In other words, this medicine that's prescribed on television that you're supposed to take to make you well gives you side effects, because the medicine that is compounded by the pharmaceutical companies is all made off of synthetic man-made material. So therefore, you're going to get side effects, and they'll tell you on the television the side effects. They say it swells your tongue, makes you constipated, make your eyeballs bulge, you're deaf in one ear, your hair fall out, and it make you cripple in one leg, and your toes will curl up. But they say, ask your doctor, can you take it? Take this medicine. Why they tell you to ask your doctor? Because when you die from taking this prescribed medicine that I told you on television, ask your doctor about, you cannot come back, and your family cannot come back and sue the pharmaceutical company, because the pharmaceutical don't told you over the television to ask your doctor, and the pharmaceutical company don't told you the side effects. This medicine, if you take it, after you ask your doctor, and he's fool enough to say, okay, you can take it, then you can't sue them. You sue the doctor for being a damn fool, for prescribing this medicine for you to take to die. That's all it's going to do for you. But so those other things that these religions will do for you give you side effects. So back to you, Brother Tarhaka. Brother Tarhaka? Hello?
Okay, I'm here, Dr. Williams. Now,
okay,
I had accidentally, I was checking some stuff on the phone because I had a young man said he was going to dial into the broadcast. But when you deal with situations from people, places, times, events, and literature, you're gathering all of the evidence that you need to state your position. And when we look at the difference between spiritualism versus religion, and we already know that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, that simply means in order to be spiritual, we're going to have to do some good critical thinking and thinking outside of the box to propel ourselves into a better life. You know, it involves thinking. We got to stop with the hocus pocus and sitting back and waiting on something. One of the most amazing things that I've seen is among the sisters that say, well, you know, I'm looking for God to send me somebody. You know, you in church on Monday, you're in church on Wednesday, you're in church on Sunday and every holiday you in church and stuff. Why don't you go outside of the church? Maybe go to a bookstore. Maybe go to a restaurant or something. Just do something different instead of sitting in the church for 10 years waiting on God to see you, Mr. Right. And Mr. Right don't even know where you at. He on 3rd and Market, you down there on Pearl. So he in a building, hiding out, waiting on him. But it's amazing to me. You see, this thing has really gotten people into a pickle. And if we just stop and just ask the question, what am I doing? You know, what is it that I'm doing? How do I change my behavior to make things different in my life? What am I manifesting with just pure thinking? Why don't we try that sometime? Instead of conditioning ourselves and staying in the condition of constantly waiting on something involving our religious beliefs to change for us. If we just done just a small portion of that, just some critical thinking, you know, just try it for 30 days. And the reason I'm saying that is because it works for me, because I'm always thinking about a way to do something different or to make some type of improvement. And it's always minus Jesus, God, and religion. Always. I'm not involved in that kind of business. I don't have time for that. And people who are involved in that type of business, they don't want to talk to me. They have this great fear because I'm making too much sense, and then they're scared I might reach for a piece of evidence to back up my claim. So they don't want to talk to me. They want to run away and be nice and safe and hold on to their religion, to their religious beliefs that have done absolutely nothing for them, and especially nothing for us collectively as a nation of people. But they don't look at that. They don't look at that at all. They don't want to. They don't want to. They say that, well, look, I believe in the Bible, and then when you begin to point out certain discrepancies and stuff, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to think about it. It's sitting right there for you to see. You know, you got what does it say, that Adam and Eve and they had Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel, and then Cain went and took a wife. Wait a minute, a wife from where? They're supposed to be the first people on the planet. So where did the wife come from? But God working mysterious ways. I said, oh yeah, that's some mysterious stuff right there, no doubt. That's very mysterious. So we don't but they don't want to face that. They talk to me about something else. Talk to me about the blessings of God. And, I am trying to talk about because I wonder when you gonna get some. But anyway, if we stop to think about our spiritual side, involves thinking. If we look at because see, if you can measure a thing, if something can be measured, there's no debate, there's no argument with what you can measure. If I have a 10-foot board and I stretch a tape measure down the center of that board and mark it off at a 7 3/4, it's gonna be 7 3/4 inches. I don't care how you cut it. You can't argue with that. That's a fact. So our spiritualism, and this is my personal thought on that, our spiritualism involves thinking. Thinking, taking action, and putting our actions behind what it is that we have thought. We could create. We create our own way. We're not stopped to think that there was a time when we didn't have automobiles. There was a time that we didn't have electricity. There was a time that there was no cell phones. There was no television. But somebody thought of it and it brought it into existence. So, I don't know. I think it's just a thing that we're going to have to be come to grips with, and I think we have to start with the man in the mirror. And that's the only place you can think. We got to, change the things that you're saying all the time. We say things without even thinking it. It's just, we don't even know the origin of where it came from in the beginning. We say things. Like somebody sneezed. They say, well, bless you. Well, wait a minute. Where that came from? Why did you say that? If it's the, I'll be there if Lord willing. What are you talking about? You either be there or you don't. They got nothing to do with it. And then they argue with you. I said, I don't believe God woke me up in the morning. I woke myself up. Because I went to bed on time. I took care of my nourishment, of my water, and I wake up at the same time. And when nobody's standing aside my bed with a white robe on, telling me, okay, it's officially time for you to get up. And I got about 6 million more people to get. So hurry up and get on up because I got to go. And this kind of business.
Brother Tarhaka, one has to think concerning these religions, and I'm talking about the people in the African community, and you can multiply that to all Christians all over the world. But just think, our members of the African community in America and throughout the continent of Africa who are Christians, they dress up to go to church. They dress their children. Take them to church. To worship this dead white man on the cross. I hear echo.
I'm listening.
Yeah, and that's something to think about. Here we are as an African people in the United States of America, in the continent of Africa, dressing up our families and yourself, dressing up to go to a church to worship your enemy, that dead white man on the cross, okay? Because that dead white man on the cross is the icon, the image, and the symbol which is institutionalized in all Christian churches throughout America and the world. That dead white man on the cross is a symbol of white supremacy. That's what it is. It's a symbol of white supremacy, white superiority. You see? And then you hear them on the radio just talking about this white man. Oh, he's done this to us. He done did this and did that. But yet and still you go and dress up and go into these churches and bow down before this white image in a defeated position where these religions have defeated you, have took away all of your spiritual will and power. You gave it away out of ignorance. And you don't want anybody to disturb you in this ignorance that you're going through. Christians of African descent, you should be ashamed of yourself doing this after hearing the words that have been spoken on this program this evening from all of us. Shirley Olatunde, Arch Olatunde, Brother Tarhaka, Emmanuel Bay, and Walter Williams. That's me.
That's right.
You should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking about going into a church and bowing down, prostrating yourself before your enemy on the cross, and you telling this white male that he is your God, Lord, and Savior. And then when you go out and leave that church, he shoot your children down in the streets like dogs. He shoot even your female down in the streets. Choke them, throw them down on the pavement like they're animals or something like that. And you still going to these churches talking about, oh, I love Jesus. I want to be washed in the blood of Jesus. They got a song out now. Just give me a little bit more Jesus. That's all I need. Just a little bit more. You know, don't you have enough? You should have enough to understand that this Jesus is not helping us as a people. Okay? And when you go to church, you are given a package. In that package is this dead white man on the cross called Jesus Christ. And that Holy Bible, which is worthless, has no historical worth whatsoever. Get it out of your life. It's trash. It's garbage. And God, you have to understand about God. God has no power. God cannot create anything with life in it unless he's made it with a goddess. You got 7 billion humans walking this earth as human beings. Every human walking this earth have their own personal God and goddess. Your own personal God is your father, and your own personal goddess is your mother. That's your God and goddess. Because when you go to the dictionary and you look up God, it says a male deity. Okay? Now, a male deity is your father who impregnated your mother, who is a goddess. When you go and look up goddess, it says a female deity. That's your mother. So every human walking this earth has a personal God. Because when you speak about God, a person speaks about God, they say he, his, or him. That's facts. Okay? Then the preacher comes along and tells you a lie coming from that Bible that God created the heavens and the earth. God cannot create no heavens and no earth. Can't do that. Impossible. God cannot create anything with life in it, like I mentioned before. So the question has to be asked, what created the sky, the planets, the stars, the moon, the sun, air, earth, water, vegetation, animals, and humanity? What created that? I can give you that answer. The answer is no human on earth will ever know that what created those entities that I just mentioned. None, don't care. No matter how much money you have, what education, how much education you have, and what station in life you hold. You cannot tell me that. No human on earth, I don't care if you're a scientist and all that other kind of stuff, you know, studied this and you know, studied that. You cannot tell me what created those entities that I just mentioned. The answer to that is called the mystery of life. You will never understand that. The second question has to be asked, what created the first man and woman to appear on planet Earth? What created them? Where did they come from? How did they get here? You know, so I can give you that answer. No human can tell you or give you that answer because it's a mystery of life, a question that will never, ever be answered. And I'm going to tell you why it will never, ever be answered. Third question, when a person is deceased, the question has to be asked, where did that person's spirit go after he died? Don't know. That's another mystery of life. No human on earth has ever died and came back 30 days later and said, hey, how you doing, man? I saw you at my funeral. Man, I've been, it's mellow up there, you know, whatever the case may be. Can't tell you that because that's also a question that can never be answered. That's the mystery of life. That's reality to that question. Never know because it's a mystery of life. We will never know that. The reason why we will never ever know that, no human on earth, I don't care what race or color that you may be, can tell you how they got here on earth as a human being. Can't tell you that. Okay? Can't tell you how they got here, how during the 9 months of incubation in their mother's body, how they developed. Can you tell me what month your eyeballs popped in? Can you tell me when your toes came to be, your arms came to be developed inside of your mother's body, creating you as a whole human being after the end of the 9 months of incubation? You can't tell me that. So the question I ask people is that at what conscious memory in your mind that you can tell me that you found yourself here on earth. Okay? So me, I can tell you I found myself here on earth between 4 and 5. I think I heard Tarhaka answer that question. That he found himself at 3 years old. So, and others have told me different ages. They found themselves here on earth. So myself, 4 or 5. So from 0 to 4 or 5 years old, I have no conscious memory of Walter Williams. Now, that's the echo again. But anyway, I have no conscious memory of Walter Williams. Now, I found myself here. Where did I find myself? On planet Earth, Chicago, Illinois. It's my birthplace, okay? And I found myself belonging to a certain race of people, okay? And they, at that time, they were called Negroes. And if you multiply my experience that I just mentioned to you, and you understand that the Chinese found himself in China, like I found myself in Chicago. The Chinese found himself belonging to a race known among men as the Chinese race. I found myself in America, in Chicago, and the race I found myself living among, they were called Negroes. Actually, they were descendants of the ancient Egyptians. That's who we are by way of a national identity. Now, the Indian of India found himself in India as an Indian. He don't know how he got there. The African found himself in Africa as an African. He don't know how he got to be an African. He just found himself there. Like I said about the Chinese, found himself in China as a Chinese. He don't know how he got there. See, the Mexican found himself in Mexico as a Mexican. He don't know how he got there. But then there's a theory out here in our African community to say that all humanity, all races of people came from one race, and that's the African race, which is totally misleading and not true. If that was the case, today as I speak, in Africa, women, the female is going into these hospitals to bring forth a child. And that child that they bring out is not a Chinese baby. It's not an Indian baby of India. It's not a Mexican. It's not a Puerto Rican. It's not a Filipino. That female can only bring forth into this world something that looks like them, something that's pertaining to the African race. You cannot do that because you cannot bring forth all races of people. That's not how it's designed. Because you can't. The reason why you can't say that, one of the main reasons why you can't say that, because you don't know how you got here. So how can you tell me about how others got here? I mean, you don't know how you got here individually. You know? So tell me how you got here, then I'll listen to your theory about how others came, all humanity came out of Africa. Can't do that. No. So we have to learn and begin to think, but we cannot learn and think and evolve with these various religions swirling around in our thoughts, you know, which is all religions are based off of a lie. So we have to know something about our own humanity. We have to know something about our own ancestors' history. We need a nationality as an identity. That's what we need. We have to find our way back to ancient Egypt and claim ancient Egypt as our national identity in order for us to have a foundation as a race of people and resurrect ancient Egypt into our consciousness, into our spirituality, and into our racial identity. We have to have that. We can no longer be black, Negro, because black and Negro is one and the same, synonymous, and African American, because that's misleading, because every name that you call yourself, there's a history attached to that name. The history that's attached to the name of Negro, black, and African Americans is one whose ancestors has been enslaved in America. That's the reason why they put up that museum at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C., the African American Museum of History and Culture. They put that up. That's a misleading institution. They're telling you, us Africans living in America, who don't know who they are by way of having a nationality, that our history started with slavery. Our history did not start with slavery. That's misleading. They're also telling the whole world that our history started with slavery, to keep us away from ancient Egypt. They don't want us to identify with ancient Egypt. The moment that we identify with ancient Egypt, racially, white supremacy is over with. We don't have to worry about white supremacy no more. Now we have a national identity that we can unify around. That's what they don't want you to do. Okay? That's the reason why when you go to school, they teach you away from ancient Egypt. They don't want you to know about that. They put you asleep about who you are. They keep you binding back to slavery, and you're out here and you're just in total confusion. All you have to do is find out who you are as a human being. Know that you, the human being, the African human living in the United States of America, was not born with a religion. Man created this religion for you to control your thinking and your actions. If you know those two things, and then you have to know something about natural laws of the universe. I heard Shirley speak about the natural laws that she has been studying based off of Mayat, truth, justice, peace, love, and wisdom. Those are natural laws. She's right. And you have to study the natural laws of the universe. So you don't need to study no Bible. The Bible is going to give you nothing but confusion. That's all you're going to be. It's confused. Because the Bible is not a history book. It has nothing to do with humanity or human beings. No character in there walked this earth. 99.9% of every character mentioned in the Bible never walked the earth as a human being. So you have to know something about the natural forces in nature. You have to study those laws. There are laws there. Fourthly, you have to find your way back to ancient Egypt and unify and get us a national identity as a people. We need that national identity. And the greatest people that's ever walked this earth in human form are known in history as the ancient Egyptians. They're over there right now, been over there for years, for over 200 years, over there plundering our ancestors' land area over there and digging up and disrupting the graves of our ancestors over there in Egypt. They don't do that to nobody else but one group, one race. That's us Africans who are descendants of the ancient Egyptians, who have lost their way because the European, our enemy, has helped us to lose our way in their school system and the religious institutions that are out here now, okay? And they miseducate us on purpose away from ancient Egypt. While in the meantime, they're claiming our ancestors' identity. They're claiming and digging up artifacts, and they spread these artifacts all over the world. They're all over the world. It's this very moment that I'm speaking to you. They're still over there plundering and digging and stealing over there and cheating and so forth and so on over there right today in Egypt. So our greatness is lying in the continent of Africa, unclaimed by the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. See, I asked the question of some doctors who had invited me to Cook County Hospital to give a lecture back in 1997 during Black History Month. And they call themselves the Black Physicians Association of Cook County Hospital. So long story short, after I gave the lecture, they thanked me for the lecture, and they paid me my honorarium that they promised me. And while they were paying me, I asked a question to the doctors by way of a suggestion. I said, doctors, why don't you call yourself the Imhotep Physicians Association of Cook County Hospital? I said, this way you can claim and identify with our ancestors, ancient Egyptians. So one of the doctors asked me, said, how do you know that we are descendants of the ancient Egyptians? I said, okay, do you believe that an African people known in history as the ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramid? He says, yes. I said, do you believe that during the time of antiquity, a people walked the earth by the name of the Greeks? He says, yes. I said, do you believe that a people during the time of antiquity walked the earth as Romans, known today as Italians? He says, yes. I said, let's go back. Today, as I speak, the descendants of the Greeks are walking this earth, calling themselves Greeks. Is that right, doctor? He says, yes. I said, now, the Roman descendants are still walking this earth, calling themselves Italians. He says, yes. I said, now, I'm going to ask you a question. Where are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians? You said they existed. You said they built the Great Pyramid. So where are they today? And his mouth dropped open, and he couldn't answer me. Today, as I speak, the descendants of the ancient Egyptians are walking this earth confused. These religions have confused us. The school system has taught us away from ancient Egypt. Okay? So these religions have done us a disservice. We don't need religions in our lives anymore. We need to destroy religions. They're no good. Destroy them out of your life. Take the Bible to the nearest garbage can and throw it in. It's confusion. We don't need that. We come from the greatest people that's ever walked this earth. We're descendants of them. A people, an African people who brought civilization to this whole entire world. Okay? Ancient Egypt brought civilization. Always remember that. Civilization. The ancient Egyptians' gift to the world. Our ancestors were the only literate people on planet Earth during the time of antiquity. That means that they're the only people on Earth that could read, write, and spell because of the alphabet that they created. Okay? They were literate people. They created mathematics. In order to build anything, you have to know mathematics. And Brother Tarhaka is a carpenter, so he knows what I'm talking about. So mathematics is very important. You cannot build anything without mathematics, the knowledge of mathematics. And they brought forth in their civilization everything that is used today as I speak. Everything came from the culture and the civilization that was created by those Africans known in history as ancient Egyptians. And we have to get back to that because our greatness is lying there in the continent of Africa, unclaimed in Egypt. So we have to go back and claim it as a people, you see? And today, as I speak, Egypt is in America today because the descendants are in America. The Arabs over there have come over there in Egypt, took over Egypt. They are occupiers. They do not belong there. But we, in order to get that country back, we will have to kill them and fight them, destroy them, to get them out of there. So we are not that type of people. Our spirituality does not go to killing and fighting and lying and cheating and stealing. We're not that kind of people. Our ancestors never had a record of being liars and cheaters and thieves and misleading people and cutting their culture off and things like that. No, we're not that kind of people. So therefore, Egypt has been transplanted over in the United States of America. Go to Washington, D.C., or get a book called Egypt on the Potomac by Anthony Browder. In that book, he'll tell you where all the artifacts all around Washington, D.C. that symbolizes our ancestors' culture in the time and during the time of antiquity in Egypt, in the continent of Africa. The artifacts, I hear that echo again. The artifacts are all over America. All you got to do is open your eyes. You go down 12th Street from Wabash, going to Clark Street. along that bridge over there, you see pyramids with lights on top of it. You go and get your dollar bill. Every dollar bill has a pyramid on it with a light on top of it. That light on top is our position that we as an African people, descendants of the ancient Egyptians, that's our position in the world. Okay? We're the most powerful people walking this earth. The whole world is following this American Negro. It's very powerful. You don't know it. But he gave away all his power to a dead white man on the cross and called this dead white man his God. Our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, out of their culture came music. The scale, the musical scale, do, re, mi, so, fa, la, ti, do. All of that came out and was created by our ancestors. Music, they were the world's first musicians. That's something that your children need to know that. Your children need to be taught they are descendants of the greatest people that's ever walked this earth, known in history as the ancient Egyptians. Okay? They don't need to be taught about a religion, something that's mythology, something that's based off of a lie. You don't need to put your children through that type of thing. I mean, enough is enough. So it's time for us to wake up as a people and find our way back to ancient Egypt. Okay? And remember, our ancestors were the ancient Egyptians, the greatest people that's ever walked this earth, that brought civilization to all of humanity. Every human on this earth is using the civilization that came from the culture of our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. So, Brother Tarhaka.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Williams, for bringing that information out to us, as you always so eloquently do. We host these broadcasts once a month, the last Sunday of the month, so y'all make sure that y'all tune in the last Sunday of every month, and you'll catch me and Dr. Walter Williams discussing various topics. I would like to add that the phone lines are available to be open. All you have to do is press 1 on your phone. If you have a question or comment, press 1. That'll give me an indication you have something to say, and I'll open up the phone lines so you can get in and let us know how you think about this thing. Dr. Williams, I want to add, well, first of all, we have to call it with his hand raised. I'm going to open up area code 347. Area code 347, you're on the air. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and what's your question or comment for our guest.
This is Andrea from Columbus, Georgia. I wanted to find out, how can I get, how can I get, help to bring my son home from the prison system?
Okay, well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to contact me tomorrow. I see you sent me a text, but we're broadcasting tonight about spirituality and religion. So I will give you a call after 9 in the morning, and we can discuss that.
Okay, but so far it's very interesting because I never knew all of this stuff that I'm listening to, and I'm a very religious person. So,
okay,
it's interesting. So I'll definitely stay on the line,
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, and we're glad you called in. But I will be calling you in the morning. I got your text, but we have to do this show here today, and this is the topic of conversation that we're discussing right now. And I thank you so much for calling in, sister.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Dr. Williams, I'd like to add something because I think when we're talking about religion, everybody knows what we're talking about. They know how to do that. But spirituality, which involves your thinking, when you, for instance, to give you some case in points, a lot of times if we get in a position where, we're unemployed, and so meaning that we need some finances. Well, getting a job is just one way of accumulating some income for ourselves. But when it comes to spirituality, what I've found and was worked very, very effective for me is I think about what is it that I need. If it is money, if it is, no matter what it is, if it's a home or if it's transportation, what I would do is I would begin to put a great deal of thought into the fact that I need this information. I need these items. And I think about them. And then I ask myself and speak to pretty much speak these things into existence. And through dreams, I've gotten ideas about creating and formulating things, and that I have used to propel me into different areas of existence. I was thinking once, I said, well, I'm unemployed. And I said, well, what is it that people need? And I kept pondering over that thing. And one night I went to sleep and I had this dream. I dreamed that I was in this library in the downtown area. And the library, it was a big old building, but they had very few books on the shelves and stuff. And something in my mind told me, well, the books that are missing from the shelves are the books that are supposed to be there that your people need to read. So you should create a library for your people. And I said, that is a good idea. And so I began to gather information, do the research, and I formulated and created a library, and I put it up online and made it available to people. And it was fantastic. And I after I'd done that, then I went on to spiritually create other means of being assistance to our people. And I want the general public that's listening to this broadcast to understand something. We are not racist. This stuff that we're talking about doesn't have anything to do with racism. I'm not a racist individual, and I don't participate in that. To me, that that's just not me. I don't do that. What we are doing here is we're dispensing information that you can think about and utilize, because we're going to have to face the fact of what is it that religion has done for us out of the in the past 200 years. What has it actually done for us collectively as a people? Where have we gotten? I mean, what have we achieved as a result of believing in this particular religion without question? When are we going to get around to doing an investigation? If you say you believe in something, okay, no matter what it is you say you believe in, you should be able to describe it. You should have some facts about it. You should have something tangible that you can put on the table to back up your claim about your belief. We got to stop going on just telling people that we believe and going through these religious motions and still suffering at the same time. Is a waste of time. If we're going to be spiritual, then that involves thinking and putting action behind what it is that we thought to bring things into material manifestation. So if you're dressing your children up in order to go to church on Sunday and going out and investing in new outfits and stuff for Easter and investing in chicken eggs, about a rabbit, and a rabbit don't lay eggs, and putting lighting up the house at Christmas time, and a white guy in a bucket on top of your house with reindeers on it, and constantly paying the electric company all this money. All we have to do is stop and think. What these customs that we are investing in and participating in, how is it benefiting us? It's not. It's moving us closer to poverty. So spirituality involves thinking. So if we're going to put action behind something, let's put action behind changing our mind. and changing our actions about how we'll, be honest with yourself. What does Halloween have to do with you? What does Thanksgiving have to do with you? What does Easter have to do with you? What does Christmas have to do with you? Well, if you're going to do a holiday, why don't you create one? We got enough historic figures in our ancient story in the past that we can just pick one. You can say, well, we're going to celebrate Queen Nzinga's Day. I'm going to invite my people over there to the house. We're gonna cook some food and put a barbecue grill out there, and we're gonna put up a sign so other people can recognize that this is a celebration about that day. It'll be different. It belongs to you. It's something you could be proud of. So, if you're going to be spiritual, minus being religious and going nowhere and accomplishing nothing, nothing's happening, nothing's changed, we can stop being insane, which means continuing to do the same thing over and over and over, looking for a different result. No, you're not going to get a different result. When you go into the church and you got $20 in your pocket, you take that $20 bill and put it in the basket, what you simply have done is giving somebody else $20. That's it. You walk out of there looking for some hocus and pocus. You think you'll get $20 worth of blessings? No, the person who got the blessings is the one who got the $20. we just got to use some common sense and realize that there is a difference between religion and spirituality. And spirituality involves thinking, using the brain to think, to make yourself better, to make your family better, to contribute to the uplifting of your people and your circumstances. Thinking, what is it? What kind of idea can I cultivate to bring into materialization? That's how we went from the horse and buggy to the automobile. That's how we are able to fly around in airplanes today. That's how we went from candles to electricity. Somebody had a preceding thought impulse, and they turned around and brought it into manifestation. It didn't have anything to do with Jesus. It didn't have anything to do with religion. Nothing. It didn't have anything to do with it. So if we're going to change something, let's change us. Let's change our mind. Let's change our thinking process. Instead of being religious, let us try to be spiritual, which involves thinking. Dr. Williams? Dr. Williams, are you with me? Okay.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh,
yes, I hear you loud and clear now.
I'm sorry. What you're saying and what you have said is so powerful. If an individual can hear your words, take those words and use them and understand what you have spoken, understand what I have spoken today on this program, understand what Shirley and Arch Olatunde has spoken today, our guests. If they can take our words and understand them, our words will change their lives. They will begin to evolve and stop revolving, because we have to evolve as a people in order to make that change. But you have to, in order to make that change, you have to have someone like us coming on a program like this and bringing information to give them. You need someone like myself writing a book or books. And in those books are information for their liberation of their thinking. And that's what we need. If you don't do that, 50 years from now, we're going to be in the same position, talking the same stuff. This white man this and this white man that. This white male this and this white male that. Okay? And so in order to change that, we're going to find our way back to ancient Egypt, claim ancient Egypt as our, and the ancient Egyptians as our ancestors, claim ancient Egypt as our homeland, know something about the culture of ancient Egyptians that was created there in the continent of Africa, in the country called Egypt. From that culture came civilization. Know that it's being occupied by foreigners over there in Egypt. We cannot get to that country unless we kill our way back. And we are not killers. That's not in our spirituality. Okay, we don't go around wasting our time as a people, hating other people or mistreating other people. That's the European's way of thinking, because he created an institution based off of lies, deceit, murder, injustice, corruption, greed, terrorism, militarism, sexism, racism, slavery, exploitation, selfishness, hypocrisy, plunder, violence, rape, hate, white supremacy, supreme, and religion, mythology, and perverted scholarship. That's his institution that he's created. See? So therefore, he's been in control of this earth and humanity. He's been in control of it for 2,350 years. So it's time for that control to be dismantled or destroyed or eradicated. And we, as an African people, who are descendants of the ancient Egyptians, are the only people on earth that can do that if we unify our thinking together. We're not going to do it scattered with these religious myths and lies floating around in our minds. Because we have to understand this as an African people. The lie is not our friend. Remember that. The lie of these religions are not our friend. They're not our friend, our enemy. So these are some of the things that we're going to have to really understand before we are able to unify. And I'm so proud of these young people that I heard, like I mentioned before, that that marched against the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Not one word of God that came out of their mouth. It was 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, and so forth, 16, so forth, years old. Not one word that they spoke when they got up there so eloquently, spoke and gave their message against the protest of gun violence. Not one of them used, we must pray. Not one of them used the name of God. Not one of them said anything about Jesus Christ. See, they know somehow, in an instinct manner, in their being, they know those names, God, Jesus the Christ. Praying has not helped us. Praying is a form of begging. That's all you're doing. You're begging on your knees when you pray, oh, Lord, in the name of Jesus, please send me a car. You'll never have a car as long as you're down on your knees begging to some kind of Jesus to send you anything, because it's not going to happen until you get up off your behind and begin to use your analytical mind and think, how can I get me a car? Everything comes out of the invisible into the physical. Arch and Shirley, they have a business on the weekend. They have a booth at the flea market right here in Chicago. And that booth that they have and operate every weekend came out of their thinking, out of their mind. That booth in that flea market didn't exist until they put it in their mind, and then they got up and from that thought of having a booth in a flea market, they got up and started moving it and bringing it into action, into fruition. See? So that's how things are done. So you're perfectly right, Brother Tarhaka. for every word that you've been speaking on this program, Brother Tarhaka.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Williams. We have another caller with his hand raised at area code 415. I'm going to open up the line. Area code 415, you're on the air. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from and what's your question for our guest.
Mayat Hotep.
Mayat Hotep, my brethren. Let us have it.
Mayat Hotep.
Can you guys hear me very clearly? This is Malcolm Speaks coming out of Oakland, California.
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, before I get started, I just want to say, Mayat Hotep Ashe. I want to thank Tarhaka Bay and thank my great elder, the esteemed elder, Dr. Walter Williams. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I got on to you about 6 years ago, and you've changed, you've done a lot for me. Let's just put it like that. You've cleared up and mopped up the lies and cleaned up all this corruption that's in the world and for me, and taught me the truth and taught me the right way. I'm just still a student, and I'm still going.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Your words makes me feel very humble, and those words are inspiration to me. Those words that you just spoke concerning this, the information and that I have imparted by way of my books and on radio shows like this and my lectures and things like that, let me know that someone's out there is being helped by my words. And you just call and let me know that you are one of the persons that's walking in America that heard my message and read my message in my book, and that the message that you're hearing from my mouth and lips, coming out from my mouth and lips, and reading in the pages of my books have helped you. That makes me feel very, very honored and humble, and I appreciate you, my brother, and I want you to continue to evolve and grow, and I want you to keep on doing what you're doing, and I want to let you know that I love you, and I want to see you continue to grow and evolve, my brother.
I love you too, man, and I feel like I'm the little young Dr. Walter Williams because can't nobody mess with this knowledge. Thank you so much. We getting it clear. We getting it clear. You are my favorite. You and the man that died, his name was Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. But you and him is like the only people that I listen to all the time because nobody talks like you guys. Nobody clears up the lies, especially you, because nobody gives us the truth. So before I go in, I just want to tell you that I love you too. And I got a couple questions for you because you answered barely all my questions, but I watch a lot of your stuff on YouTube because you got a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube people put up. So that's all I watch, and that you clear up a lot of questions for me. But I haven't got to this one. The first question I want to ask for you, my elder, is to you. This is for you. What does Egypt mean to you? What is the definition of Egypt?
Well, people have different definitions, especially coming from scholars. Most of the African scholars call Egypt Kemet. I don't use that term because it's not a popular name, because the whole world knows our ancestors as being the ancient Egyptians. And the whole world knows that the ancient Egyptians brought civilization to the world. So we are the ones that have to realize what our ancestors did through their culture in Egypt, in the continent of Africa. And that you have to know that they brought civilization for all of humanity. They were the greatest people that ever walked this earth in human form. So that is what Egypt means to me. Egypt means that I, Walter Williams, and other Africans living in the diaspora of America and are descendants of the ancient Egyptians, direct descendants of the ancient Egyptians. So that's what Egypt means to me. Some of the things. I'm just trying to, let's say, give it in a small crystal understanding where you can really understand, and for me to hit that point, be poignant about it. That's what Egypt means for me, that I, we are descendants of the greatest people that ever walked this earth, known today in history as the ancient Egyptians. And our ancestors civilized this whole entire world. They were the only literate people on planet Earth during the time of antiquity. Literacy means that they created the alphabet. The alphabet, you can read, write, and spell with an alphabet. They created all forms of mathematics. So, and they've created other things. I'm writing a book on the creation of the things that are used today in the whole entire world by all races of people, but everything that the people of all races, creeds, and colors today in the world are using and coming from the ancient Egyptian culture. So therefore, we have a very powerful position, and I tell people, which I don't hear too many people talk about, they don't realize that our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, created music. Now, you take like the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Those are the 7 notes in the scale. Do, re, mi, so, fa, la, ti. And then you go back to where you start, do. You see, that's the musical scale. That came from the alphabet that our ancestors created there in ancient Egypt to make themselves literate. They were the only literate people, like I mentioned before, in the world because they created an alphabet. And they were the first people to build in the world because they created mathematics. And on every dollar bill, you see the symbol of the creation of that pyramid. On that every dollar bill that you have in your pocket has a symbol of our ancestors' symbol as the pyramid is on there. And at the top of that pyramid, you see a round ball, reddish round ball. That's that sun. And that's where our position belongs. That's our position in life. We belong on the top of that pyramid because of our ancestors created that discipline, and they created an immortal legacy to leave us so we can know who we are. But we've been taught away from knowing who we are from the school system that taught us. So that is some of the things that ancient Egypt means to me. So I can go on and on and on. So does that answer your question?
That was a phenomenal and fantastic answer. Thank you so much. You have answered my question. And it's crazy because when you step outside, that's all you see is Egypt if you really get into it. But
everywhere you go in America,
everywhere you go, everywhere you go, I tell my brother
here in America. That's right.
Everywhere
What's your second
you go.
question, brother?
My second question is, I remember in one of the interviews you did, you mentioned that you went to Egypt. Now, there's a city in Egypt called Abu Simbel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Abu Simbel, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Abu Simbel. When you go in there, when you go past the four pillars of our ancient ancestor, you go in and you see people on the walls with stuff with like chains and things on their neck. What do you know? What happened there? What happened? What happened in that? Can you tell us? Elaborate on what happened there.
Okay, I understand what you mean. I've gotten this question before. Now, you remember who occupied ancient Egypt and terrorized our ancestors? Yes. The Greeks. Is that correct?
Sir. That's
right.
That's
what the
Greeks
correct. Did to us, right there. Put those chains and ropes around our neck. Yeah, you see that?
Yes, sir. So
that's my answer.
Yeah, so
that wasn't our ancestors. Our ancestors had an underlying principle, like Shirley Olatunde was talking about earlier in our conversation, that our ancestors practiced and used the underlying principles of Mayat, truth, justice, peace, love, and wisdom. See, you cannot be a civilized people and go around terrorizing people. The two don't go together. That's the European. During his occupation, he did that to us Africans and other Africans over there. See? That's so you're seeing the depiction. That's not. Don't put that on the answer. You put on the Greeks and the Romans. So that would be my answer.
That cleared that up. Thank you. My third question, and it makes a lot of sense too, because they're desecrating a whole bunch of stuff on our ancestors. They're digging up and repainting the walls. But the third question was, what do you think, in your perspective, what do you think the pyramids was made for and used for and and utilized for?
Well, I really don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. No person on earth can give you that answer because they can only be a speculative answer, something that they think of, So let's look at the pyramid. Now, see, no human can tell you how they were built. They don't know how those 250-ton stones that were once the outer casings of that pyramid, how they brought them from the ground all the way up 490 feet. Can't tell you that. The base of the pyramid's got four sides for a base, 756 feet on each side of the pyramid. How they got those bricks and stones up there, they can't tell you. So no one can tell you how they did it. You see, so I can only tell you from what I have studied about the pyramid, the use of the pyramids. The pyramid was used for burial for some ancient Egyptians. They find in those chambers inside of the pyramid, they have found mummies over there. So that indicates that the ancient Egyptians, our ancestors, used the pyramid for burial purposes. Number two, they use the pyramid for like a refrigerator. They could store grains and other things in the pyramid, and when they store these things, they won't spoil, you see, because of how they were constructed, you see. Our ancestors just didn't say, okay, we're going to drop a pyramid here right in this location. No. That pyramid is in the center of Africa, central part of Africa. And that's where they put that pyramid, where the sun comes over that pyramid every morning, you see. So I would say that for burial purposes, because they found antechambers in there with mummies and so forth and so on, that indicates that the pyramid was used to bury people and so forth and so on. And they also is where they kept the overflow of foods for the farmers would bring their foods and other foods there and put it right there in the pyramid, and they would feed all the multitude of people that were connected under the Commonwealth. I call it the African Ancient Egyptian Commonwealth. That's also called the Nile Valley Civilization. Now, what is the Nile Valley Civilization? How many countries consist of the Nile Valley Civilization? I would say 9. Uganda, where the source of the water coming out of Tanzania, out of Mount Kilimanjaro, it flows into Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria merges with Lake Albert in Uganda, and there's 3 cataracts that takes, which a waterfall of 125 feet, that takes the water coming from Mount Kilimanjaro, takes that water and pushes it north into the south of the Sudan. So you got 3 cataracts that will do that. And once that water reaches the south of the Sudan by way of those cataracts coming out of Uganda, then it makes its way through a marsh area. You have 4,000 feet. 4,000 miles rather of marshland coming from the south in the Sudan before that water worms its way through the arteries that has been created over the years to get to the main artery of the Nile River. And then that's the second country is Ethiopia. From the Abyssinian Mountains comes every year water coming down, melted snow coming down from Mount the Abyssinian Mountain into Lake Tana, the largest lake in Ethiopia, and that water is carried from Lake Tana into and meets with the White Nile, which they call the body of the Nile that's in the country of Uganda, and they call the water that's coming out of Ethiopia the Blue Nile that merges with the White Nile, and they have 9 cataracts from that point that pushes that water further north as those cataracts, because they have those 125 feet waterfalls, and once that water falls 125 feet, splashes, and it keeps going, pushing it north. You see, until it gets to the Mediterranean. So, and then the third country in that African ancient Egyptian Commonwealth, a.k.a. the Nile Valley civilization, is the Sudan. Uganda, Ethiopia, the Sudan, and then Egypt is the capital of the African ancient Egyptian Commonwealth. That's my name for it, the African ancient Egyptian Commonwealth, and a.k.a. Nile Valley civilization. So you have, that's the fourth country, you see? And then you have the countries west of Egypt on the map that borders the Mediterranean. Those countries left of Egypt is Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Mauritania. All 9 of those countries make up the ancient Egyptian African Commonwealth during the time of antiquity, you see? So we, as an African people, as descendants of the ancient Egyptians not only lived in Egypt, with that culture that they created, they also lived as part of the ancient Egyptian culture and ancient Egyptians living. They lived in Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Ethiopia, the Sudan, and Uganda. You see? So, getting back to the pyramid, that's what I think now. See, because be honest with you, I don't know. I'm going to tell you like it is. And no human on earth, no. They don't. The other humans don't know either. See? But the other humans concoct some kind of stuff which is based off of their own interpretation and pass it to you as being something that's concrete by way of facts. I'm not telling you that everything I told you about that pyramid, first thing I'm saying, I don't know how they built it. No human don't know how they built it. So therefore, I don't know the function of that pyramid. I can only tell you what I know thus far, that they did find antechambers in there with bodies in there. They did find and different grains and stuff that was stored in there. Those 2 things I do know. So that's my answer to you, my brother.
Magnificent answer. Do I have time for one more?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Like you told me, I eat, breathe, and sleep Egypt, and I'm going in the right direction. I know the chronology of ancient Egypt is done for. I listen to you all the time, Dr. Walter Williams. Keep coming with the knowledge. I'm waiting for your book to come out too as well. I'm getting that. My last question is, how do you to explain to me about human sacrifices? What were we doing? Can you elaborate on that?
Human sacrifices?
Yes, sir.
Our ancestors never had no human sacrifice. That's Europeans. That's his nature. That's not our nature. Our nature is truth, justice, peace, love, and wisdom. That's what our ancestors practiced. That's human sacrifices come with the Europeans. When the Spaniards and the Roman Catholic Church went into Mexico, they caused those people to drop their children and sacrifice their children into fire and flames.
Wow.
Because we took a vacation and went to see the Mayan pyramids over there in Mexico, and the tour guide was a professor from one of the universities in Mexico, and he told us that when the Spanish and the Europeans came over there, they terrorized those Mexicans and told them that their God they've been worshiping worthless, and to embrace this Jesus the Christ, this white God, and they they enticed those people, those Mexican people, to sacrifice their children by throwing them into the fire. And once they did that, they told those Mexicans, said, you see, your God that you've been worshiping did not help you. Did not save your children. Take my God, this Jesus the Christ, will help you. And that's how that sacrifice. But our ancestors, don't ever let nobody tell you that our ancestors were people that will kill people, murder people, dehumanize people, terrorize people. No, 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 no. They never did that. The only people that terrorizes people, including themselves, is the European. He has terrorized every inch of this earth and every human walking this earth as we know it today, including themselves. They are. Woo! Here's another thing I want you to realize. Now, understand this. No other race of people has ever terrorized Europe. Europe has never been terrorized, only by themselves. They terrorize each other over there, okay? But no other race of people has ever went to Europe and terrorized them. But the Europeans has went to every country and every race that's walking this earth and terrorized them. That's a fact. So don't ever let nobody tell you.
So much. You cleared that up for me real well. Thank you.
Okay.
What did those pyramids? Them pyramids didn't compare anything to the pyramids in Egypt. How do you feel about those pyramids down there?
In Mexico, you have to understand this: that there's only one race of people on earth that knew and know how to build a pyramid. And that's your ancestors, our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. They migrated all over the world, civilizing indigenous people as they met them. They civilized them, brought civilization to them. They didn't go over there and find these different people all over the world and terrorize them. Europeans did that. You see? Mm-hmm. So what they did, they used the material over there in the country of Mexico to build this pyramid they called the Mayan pyramid. Only one race of people on earth knew how to build pyramids, and that is our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. So that would be my answer to you.
Ooh, thank you. And that's it. You cleared it all.
You got to understand this. You got to understand this. The ancient Egyptians were the only literate people on planet Earth during the time of antiquity. So you have to know, and in order to build anything, what you have to know, mathematics. And our ancestors created mathematics. You see, no other race of people created mathematics. All forms of mathematics came from our ancestors. If you got my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity?
No, but I read a whole lot of it.
But have you got my books, The Historical Origin of Christianity?
No, sir. But I look at you all the time, sir. So
I understand. Listen to what I'm saying. I understand that. You listen to me and you look at me. Go, if you want to now, suggestion, go and buy the book. My two books, The Historical Origin of Christianity and Historical Origin of Islam. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that you don't have it. When you get to the Historical Origin of Christianity book, Historical Origin of Christianity, read the introduction in there. It's very powerful and very informative. Read it. Get those two books. Okay? If you don't get those two books, then this will help you evolve and expand your knowledge. Those two books.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I love you, Dr. Walter Williams. I didn't mean to take up much of the time.
No, I love you. I want you to call in. Anytime you hear my voice, if you can call in, call me. No problem.
I want to email you my radio station, too. I have a radio station every Sunday. I'd love for you to come on.
Okay. Just email me. You have my email address?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You email the ancient Egyptian.
MSN, right?
At msn.com. Ancient Egypt at msn.com. And put your phone number there, and we can go from there.
Okay. I got you. Thank you so much, man. Thank you too, Tarhaka, man. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Don't stop. I appreciate it.
Okay, my brother.
You're welcome,
Looking
brother.
forward to hearing from you.
Much love. Y'all have
Thank
a
you
good
for
night.
calling in.
Marriott Hotel.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
Marriott Hotel.
Marriott Hotel, my brother.
All right. Well, I certainly appreciate you answering the brother's question the way you did and put that information out there, because we have a lot of people who have a lot of misconceptions about who the Egyptians, the ancient African Egyptians were, who and what they did and where they did it at. And there are quite a few materials, and a lot of them just simply don't do the necessary investigation to get the information. I've studied them. One thing I found out that you will be much further ahead if you understand the nature of the people known in history as the in our ancient story as the ancient African Egyptians. If you look at their behavioral patterns and the things that they did, based on what I have read and I have studied, I don't see the ancient African Egyptians having a standing army like we got in the United States today, where we got the military industrial complex and we got the soldiers, and we keeping that going, keep war going, and keeping upheaval and stuff. They never was that type of people. When something came up, I'm pretty sure that they was able to accumulate enough people to put down any uprising or anything that went on. Before it's keeping a standing military, I don't. Based on the behavioral patterns and the investigation that I've done, I didn't see that. And I noticed that certain kings travel around the world doing different things and bringing civilization. I looked at I don't look at a TV here. I've been doing quite a few investigations lately, but there's a program. I don't know if everybody have seen that. It's called In the Shadows of Motown, and because it was asking everybody, well, what is the Motown sound? Because we had the Temptations, the Four Tops, and the Supremes, and all these people. Well, what was this sound? Who would they would name different ones? It was Marvin Gaye, it was Smokey Robinson, but there were a group of musicians known as the Funk Brothers. And these are the people, and they, in my opinion, it was the greatest set of musicians in the world I'd ever seen. And I mean, these guys were geniuses, and they're pretty much unduplicatable, the way that they were doing things. But these are the descendants of the ancient African Egyptians. They're right here in the United States. And the pyramids and stuff, more pyramids in this hemisphere than they are in Africa. And the people that build the pyramids are the ancient African Egyptians. These are the people that build the pyramids. And so when we look at your works, we got works by Mr. John G. Jackson. We got Chancellor Williams. We have Asa Hilliard. We have quite a few. Ivan Van Sertima, and you could take these, just do a thorough investigation. The works of Dr. Walter Williams, the historical origins of Christianity, historical origins of Islam, and that way you're able to elaborate and be able to provide evidence and proof about some things. So that's the way I go at it. And to me, that is exercising true spiritualism right there. When you're able to think and speak and then provide evidence of what you're talking about. And no evidence, no case. So when you say Jesus Christ, well, I want to know where your evidence is. Where your facts at? If you say, well, the Bible said, okay, well, the Bible, who wrote the New Testament? Who wrote the Old Testament? What information do you have on these people that you can put down on the table?
Correct.
See, we got to start with the hocus pocus and start dealing with the fact that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that involves thinking. And you are more effectively thinking when you are
research something. If you want to talk about something, know what you're talking about. Be able to point to where other people can get that information. You put it on the table where you see it for your facts. See the facts for yourself.
That's correct. Absolutely.
We're down to the last 9 minutes, and you want to give us some closing thoughts on this subject that we're dealing with, spirituality versus religion?
Yes, I want to make this statement before I go into that. The young man the last call we had, I'm glad that you brought out that our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, never had an army or jails. Okay? I've always said that, but I forgot to mention that to him when explaining about the spirituality of our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. Dr. John Henry Clark once said, and I've heard him say it more than once, he says, do not match our African spirituality with the European spirituality. It's too different. Not the same. Both are different. Okay? We, as an African people, think one way, and they, as a European, think another way. So there's a difference between the two races of people. Again, our ancestors were civilizers, not terrorizers. You can go to any museum around the world that displays ancient Egyptian artifacts. You will never find war weapons being displayed. Okay? You will never find anything that in the culture of ancient Egyptians where they incarcerated their citizens because there was no corruption in the government of ancient Egypt. Why? Because of the laws and the principles that they incorporated in their culture, which is based off of truth, justice, peace, love, and wisdom. So that's a piece that I want to add to my answer to that question about us having Africans into captivity. No, that comes from the Greek and the Roman occupying ancient Egypt during the time of antiquity. That's what they did. So anyway, my closing thoughts is that I am thankful to you again, Brother Tarhaka, for having me as you do once a month on your program, and I enjoy myself. I've gotten a lot of emails from people who have heard me on your program, and I appreciate you for having this program and having the consciousness that you have. And I want to thank you for your humanity and your spirituality that you have, and I want to thank you for your knowledge that you have. You are if you're not a genius, you're near one anyway. That's my opinion, and there's nothing you can do about it. So anyway, I want to let you know that I love you and I appreciate you, and I want you to keep on being strong and going forward, moving forward, and evolving. And my two guests, Arch and Shirley Olatunde, I don't know if they're still there. I want to thank them for coming on to be a part of our program tonight. They enhanced our program with their knowledge and their experience and their love for our people. And I want them to continue to evolve and keep growing in knowledge, which I think they are doing. And I want to thank the listening audience, our two callers that called in, the brother that called in. I want to thank him for being the type of person and the human being that he's in, that he is, that wanting to seek history and seek knowledge to help himself get out of this dilemma that we as a people are in. In other words, I'm glad that he learned to liberate himself by taking the words that I speak and the literature that I've written, using those two to liberate his thinking and liberate him as a human being. So to that brother, I said, get my two books, Historical Origin of Christianity, Historical Origin of Islam. Read them, and once you read them once, go back and study them, okay? And when you study them, you'll find something that you missed the first time. So I want to leave the listening audience with how to get in touch with me. You can email me at ancientegyptian@msn.com. Ancient, ANCIENT. Egyptian, EGYPTIAN @msn.com. When you email me, put your phone number there, and I'll get back to you, and we can further have a conversation. So you can also buy my books at your nearest African bookstore, or go online at Amazon.com, or Barnes & Nobles, or you can call my brother, Brother Yoel, who has a bookstore right here in Chicago. It's called the Underground Bookstore. You can call him at area code 773-768-8869. Again, the Underground Bookstore, Brother Yoel. You can reach him at 773-768-8869, and you can order my books, and he will mail them out to you. And my two books, again, it's called The Historical Origin of Christianity and The Historical Origin of Islam. The Historical Origin of Christianity has been out for 25 years. The Historical Origin of Islam has been out for 15 years. So it's selling all over the world, all in English-speaking countries, the Caribbean, so forth and so on, in America and so forth and so on. So therefore, that's how you can get my two books. And again, Brother Tarhaka, I want to thank you for being the person, the human being, and the man that you are. You are a terrific individual. And again, you are a genius. Or if you're not a genius, you're bordering on being one. And that's my opinion of you. And again, there's nothing you can do about it. So I love you. So continue on doing what you're doing, and look forward to being with you the next time we have a broadcast.
Okay, well, we will definitely be back. That'll be next month in May, the last Sunday in May. We'll be back on here again with another valuable topic that we can discuss and get into the minds of listening people so that they can effect change and become better. Because, you know, just hosting a radio show and just talking about a bunch of junk and a bunch of feel-good stuff, and nobody is accomplishing anything. We're not growing as a people. We're not achieving anything. That, to me, that is a waste of time. I'd rather discuss topics and do things that people can actually take and use and change their lives. Okay.
Correct.
So I certainly appreciate you for being on, Dr. Walter Williams, and I look forward to having you on next month, the last Sunday of next month. And I'd like to say
I'll be right here waiting to go on with you on the last Sunday of May and every last Sunday of every month thereafter. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. I would like to say Mayat Hotep to you this evening, and I will be converting this show into a video. We'll put it up on YouTube there for you, and I'll be sending that over there to you tomorrow.
Okay, I want to say thank you, and Mayat Hotep to you, my brother.
Mayat Hotep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We did a 3-hour segment on spiritualism versus religion. And for those of you who are having problems with debt, go to newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com. And send me an email. Just fill out the contact form, and so I can send you my free report. Just go to newdebtelimination.com. Look up top. You'll see the contact us spot. And just fill it out, and it come to me, and then I'll get that back, right over there to you. I've been your host, Tarhaka Mana LB, and until next time, you all have a good evening, okay?
You've been listening to Moorish Talk Live 100 with Tarhaka Amana El Bey. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Peace.